Missing Jeffrey.
We are live.
Jeffrey.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Troy Community Land Bank Monthly Board of Directors meeting. Call to order at 8:30. We'll begin with the roll call. Bob Conlon. Here. Brian Sano. Here. Brian Barker. Here. Andrew Cooper.
Here.
Suzanne Spellin.
Here.
Kim Ashton-Pearson.
Here.
James Mager. Here. Not in attendance is Monica Kuzieski, Seamus Donnelly, and Tamara DiMartino. We also have our counsel, Michelle Marinello, Executive Director Brad Lewis, and Project Manager Paul Nye. We will start the meeting off with a review of the meeting minutes from July 15th. After everybody has a chance to review them, if I could get a motion.
Motion.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Meeting minutes from July 15th passed. We'll jump right into the financial report and a review of our financials.
So we are doing relatively the same as we were before. The big things that have to happen to change that are the sale of 3340 6th Avenue. And obviously reimbursements from the state for our LBI 2 and our LBI 1 operations. You'll see a $75,000 reimbursement next month, not this month, on the operations, which is LBI 1. And all those grants that come in are going to be bottom line. And there should be one for LBI 2 as well for capital phase for some of the construction work we'll discuss today, as well as the construction work that we will show pictures of that we got complete, as well as stuff that we do in the future. But relatively, we're still hovering around $500,000 in net income. It's exactly 462 for the year right now. And like I said, it'll go up from there. Our grant cycle ends September 1st for our operations grant. So I've already submitted the grant application for the next operation cycle for the $200,000 grant for the administrative stuff, my salary, attorneys, bookkeepers, auditors, property maintenance. Those things all get reimbursed through the operations grant. So the number you see for, say, property maintenance at $22,000 for the grant cycle is all been reimbursed up to this point. So again, one note to mention, when we sell 3340 6th Avenue, for right now we have it listed for $225,000. If you look on our balance sheet, it shows that we have it valued at $345,000. That would be, the value of all the work we've done to it. We are going to have a revenue of $225,000. We're going to have an expense of $345,000 as cost of goods sold, and we'll also have, if we have listing agent fees or attorney fees, they'll all be other expenses. So technically, selling the building will have a cash inflow of $225,000. And on the books, our net income will actually go down 100 and change because of the writing off of the value of all the work that we've done to put it into the building gets written off. The state obviously gave us that money before. So it's one of those nuanced things where the organization says we made $500,000, but our cash hasn't changed, and cash changes when we sell buildings if our value is stored in the building. So we are going to have a cash plus $200,000 in cash, plus or minus whatever it ends up being, but we'll have an expense on the books of hire, which is what will help people wrap their head around. The land bank's made $460,000 this year. Well, it's mostly into value of buildings.
We'll also see a loss on the balance sheet.
On the income statement. The value of the organization is still over $2 million after you deduct liabilities, and you have your reconciliation reports in there for any expenses, and I'm open for questions in terms of anybody having a question of what anything went towards, any expenditure went towards. Sorry if anybody got a faintly printed one, because
It's me.
We ran out of ink after
Well,
the
it's not
80s.
an entry for ink in that month's report.
Brad, when do we pay Bill French $1,050 for?
That's a great question. So Paul, I'll let you talk about that.
Sure. We wanted an independent set of eyes to look at all of the roofing projects. Bill being a roofer.
Not all of them.
Not all of them, no.
I think you'd say that you can physically go on a flat roof that's 2 or 3 stories high.
Correct. And Bill was able to do that for us, and give a rating on each of the roofs that he looked at. A rating whether does this have 3 to 5 years left in it? Does it need to be replaced immediately, et cetera? And he's more than qualified to do that.
It was administrative cost to have him look at the roofs that were 2 or 3 stories, because our workers' comp doesn't cover us independently going on those roofs.
Correct.
And how many flat roofs were there?
4.
4. And you have a report for that, right? From him?
Yes, I have a report for each of the properties, and we can provide those should you want to see them. And basically, it's a 1-paragraph statement, sizing up the job.
My gut tells me there were 7. And it was 150 times 7, so it's 1050.
It was 7, I'm sorry.
Okay. Throwing out numbers here.
So you give like cost estimates or just
No.
time
no
estimates,
problem.
like condition is this or that, just because you
Condition.
otherwise couldn't see?
Just a condition report.
How much does a drone cost?
You laughed at that, and
No, I mean, I sort of laugh, but sort of not.
I
don't know.
considered that,
you know.
but you do have to get licensed.
Yeah,
et
commercial license,
cetera.
yeah.
Yeah.
I thought about
to
getting
do
one,
that.
but
And I know people in the business who not only have those, but they're fit up with infrared. You can find leaks.
Oh,
all
sure,
that
yeah.
stuff. But, it's not cheap.
yeah, it's
And then
upfront
who-
cost
who
and
get the
long term,
license?
yeah,
It's more like
right.
$150 building.
Yeah,
And this is,
Well,
this is,
It's $150 an hour.
An hour, yeah.
this is specifically for the repair program for roofs that we couldn't identify whether they were good or bad, or
Right.
whether they
Because they're-
qualified.
Yeah, you can't get up there.
So this wasn't our housing stock.
No,
No,
this is only for the
it's
repair
strictly
program.
residential repair program.
That helps me out.
And actually, it was already approved for reimbursement, that money from the operations expenses under the administrative line item. I think it's OTPS, or either that or technical support. Either way, they give you 2 different line items you can use, other than personnel services or technical support. Or pre-development, either one of them.
So that report that we paid for is something that Bill French independently from the city did.
No, not from the city, from a
This is
roof,
his business.
This is his company.
his roofing
His
company.
company. So this is not.
The
Correct.
theory was using his roofing company, but then disqualifying him from any roofs that we
Right.
do afterwards,
And he-
made it independent.
He is DQ'd. He's DQ'd from presenting to the land bank.
Pricing for roofs.
And he was fine with that.
I think we have to, there's a few people who work for the city who do good work, right? And I think we just have to be really clear on who's doing what, and like you just said, right? Like, I think that that's also something we need to, because this individual holds multiple roles, whether it's the code enforcement and the inspection side of things, as well as has this private company, but then we're like a city-ish entity, so just making sure we're clear. We have some public utility guys who do work for us as well too, so making sure that there's some clear boundaries.
Separate.
We also don't want it to look like there's work being steered in a direction either.
Is that the same with J&J Ship Sewer and Drain?
Yes, yep.
Exactly.
They do great work, but again, we just gotta make sure we're crystal clear so it doesn't look like. Correct.
Is that it for your financials, Brett?
Yeah, I'm open for questions if there are any. That's it.
Does anybody else have anything? You want to just go into your, executive director's report, please?
Yeah, so, we anticipate closing on 44 13th and 325 9th Street, as well as 436 4th Street. They're the auction properties that we won. We anticipate closing sometime within the next month. And being a St. Rose alumni, myself, as well as Christine Shudd, I think is the way you say her last name, from Habitat. She's organized some volunteer days, and she's organizing some volunteers to help us do the cleanup of the yards of those properties on September 26th. So our alumni is gonna do a volunteer day. We'll see more about that in a little bit, but it's mostly just, it's not like the community necessarily as well, as much as it's the alumni of St. Rose that have come in and do some work. Shooting, yeah. We would,
Speaking of the auction report, whatever, are we closing on 4th Street?
yes,
That is part of what I didn't.
yes,
Okay.
and they did not demolish it. I was told one day that maybe it would be demolished on a Monday after we already gave our money, and
Is it
then,
the one down by
We're both.
Unity House? Daycare?
Yeah. I don't know if it's twice, it's definitely across the street. Yeah.
Small.
Yeah, so we'll figure out if there's something going on there, but, you know, in my mind, I think in everybody's mind, if there's a dispute on, well, obviously, I think the building can be safe, all you gotta do is support it and repair the foundation. Theoretically, what they're saying is, one of the foundation walls are bowed, and they're concerned. And so,
The city is saying?
yeah, and so the first thing, well, I think their only way to solve a problem like that is an emergency demolition. They don't have set aside their land bank, which is what we are. They don't have a mechanism to save buildings, but here we are. We can do it. We're part of the city. And so this is the mechanism to do it, which is have the land bank take over a building that needs to be stabilized if the owners of the buildings aren't doing it. And also, I believe Finelli next door thinks there's a lot line problem or where the property line
That's
is.
where I was going.
So we'll also figure out the survey. And if we find out that he's saying 4 foot of the building's on his property, we'll find that out. If it is, we need to make an adjustment. We need to make a deal or something in terms of getting the property on the right line. Or maybe we find out that it is too far off, and Michelle, give us an opinion on what we should do with Finelli and deal with the situation. That's what the land banks are for, is to
Yeah.
deal with buildings that are on other people's properties, I guess. So we'll deal with that.
Happens more often than you think.
Yeah, so,
It's so bizarre, like when you think about it, like the history of that.
yeah,
For decades, it's been wrong. It's probably been sold multiple times,
Oh, yeah,
right?
for
Like,
sure.
it's just-
if it is wrong, who's done the survey?
I mean, it has been wrong on other buildings is the point,
Yeah,
like
oh,
it
yeah.
happens, right? And you're like, how does this happen, right? You know?
Well, I mean,
How does this slip through the cracks that
my
way?
neighbor next door did her survey, and I'm not joking, because I built my fence right on the property line, and her back pin is actually a foot over than the line that my surveyor did my back pin.
Right.
And I'm like, these are two independent guys, and they're putting pins, and they're just section of land in between our properties that isn't on the tax map if somebody owns it. So somebody's pin is wrong, and I think she wanted more of her garage side, and so he leaned that way, and my guy leaned this way. So,
It's math.
That's why I like title insurance.
and then the earth is spinning on a rotational axis in weird ways, and we're losing a couple centimeters here and there. So, you know,
Continental drift.
I know. Yeah, exactly. Let me get on with this. So we did a bunch of property repairs this month. Obviously, we were talking before, the AC fell off the siding because it didn't go into one of these studs. And Lewis actually went up there and replaced all the siding, and then Dupree came up and reattached the AC and then tested it for the gentleman that lives in the first floor apartment back here. So that was fixed. Lewis noticed this tree was snapped here at 836 River Street, so ProClimb came through and it cut it down. Our mason did the work at 836 River Street, repointing that brick, filling in these chimney holes with bricks. This framing has been completed over there, 100% complete.
Yes.
Okay. And then this is.
No, I'm sorry, we do have some changes that we need to make on the rear end of the building, to open up for more daylight. So
Yeah,
very
but that wasn't
small.
part of his original
It
scope.
was not part of his original scope.
So the mason opened up this doorway because there's gonna be an island in between this doorway and there's one on the side over here. He was working on this chimney. If you notice, this is fresh brick. He's got his guys on the side, and then he bricked in the fireplace there and framing, and then the hole up here, the framing for the bathrooms there. That's another fireplace that was bricked in. This is the finished chimney all the way up, so.
Did any damage happen to the air conditioning unit?
Not the debris.
He didn't mention anything. No, he had it up and running.
He didn't charge us to come back and
No.
do that, correct?
We're no charge. 332 River, or
Big miss.
332 9th Street. We had the bricks replaced. This is where it looked like the cooling bin came out. These are diamonds that were installed to attach to the joist inside. They were put out here. You notice a little hole right here. This is a helical tie. It's a Simpson strong tie attachment that it attaches one width to the width behind it. It was an additional add-on. It didn't cost us any money, but we just wanted to drill into the bricks and attach them with this little spiral thing that goes between one width and the second
And
width.
so ultimately, you don't have an exterior veneer wall. So
Yeah.
it's all tied together.
This is the interior, this is the new framing, and, you have this attachment to the side of the stud, and then this is bolted on, and it goes through, and the star attached on the outside to sort of grab onto the joist, so the brick wall can't bow out again. And then that's the new framing on the second floor. This is where there was a hole in the wall. You can see the damage there. That's a non-structural wall right here. That's why it's floating. And then this is the second story. It's framed out as well. We have new panels at 332 9th Street. This is the basement where this was the rotten joist. He put a 3x8 and a 2x8. He did a 2x8 first because he couldn't get the 3x8s, but he wanted to get going on the project. And he just added the 3x8 later. It was spec under the plans as a 3x8. So he just left the 2x8 as extra. So it's really beefed up. It's about 5 inches of joist. This is the new joist hitting on the support in the middle there. That's the same sort. This is you've already seen that picture, but essentially all these floor joists had to be replaced from the water damage from the leaky drain.
Do we, when we have exterior walls and then we pad out with the framing, do we insulate against the brick?
Yeah.
How do we do that? I mean, because that can be tricky because of the moisture right from the brick. I was just curious what.
Yeah.
They do a barrier.
Yeah, is there a barrier? Is it like, 'cause
Plastic.
I've several times tried to I've
Yes,
read many
there's a-
different
there's
sort
a
of
vapor
opinions
barrier.
about the better way to do that.
There's a vapor barrier.
There is on the interior, all the way in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right
Curious.
before the sheet
Before
rock.
the sheetrock, yeah.
That's what I was, rock wool would be better. Yeah, and this is the basement. The water was coming down where this person's foot is and leaking right in. And so these are the support joists from before. That's 332 9th Street. This is in progress of the floor joists. These joists that were added from the rotted ones landed on both the exterior, but also the interior support joists. And then there's the helical tie that's drilled in here. I think I have a video. And then I asked them to take some red silicone, just to silicone the end of it. And this is 32 Glen Avenue with new service panels. And they took a dumpster of stuff out. We had framing is complete over there too. I just don't have a picture of it. So anyway, that's all the work that we got done. All the electrical panels at 836 River Street, 32 Glen Avenue, and 332 9th Street are in. The
Yeah.
framing's in, and the brick repairs complete. So now we're on to our electrical, plumbing, HVAC, sprinkler, rough-ins, before we move on to, after that, we move into installation. So we got about a year to do it all, so I think we'll get there.
Were any of these projects, the output of any of our first-time contractors?
Yeah, the framing was a first-time contractor.
Framing at 32 and then the framing at 836 is first time.
And
everything
the courts are first
First
time
is their
too.
first time using them. And they were lowest bidder, if you recall, back up for service for all three of the,
So the court and WB,
WB, yeah.
yeah, they're.
That's a big part of our grant administration, is making sure that we are 10% women-owned business and 20% minority-owned
Right.
business.
And we're working hard at trying to make those numbers. And it's not easy. It's not easy to find a WBE in roofing. It's not easy to find a WBE in several different building categories. However, we expanded our radius, and we'll get into this in a little while.
Yep.
Not from just 25 miles, not 50 miles, to 100 miles. And the reason we did that, because we just weren't getting enough responses.
And Jeffrey got approval for 10 of the repair program projects, and HCR wanted 10 at a time. So the first 10 packets were complete. He submitted for the next 10. our goal is to do the first 28, and make sure we have funding to move on to the first 40 altogether. But the first 28 were, roughly the most likely that we would get them done at, 25,000 or 20,000 a pop. So we have, we got some pricing for both the RFP responses, but also we got some pricing for the repair program for roofing. And, the averages on most of these roofing projects are roughly about $14,000-15,000 a piece. So that's not bad if you think about, we have 500,000 total, and a lot of these repair program people say are 15,000 a piece. You might get 35 projects done, which would be really a positive
That'd be
thing,
great.
if it's all that inexpensive. So Jamie, that's the executive director's report.
What,
But I know what you're asking. I was gonna ask you.
what happened to Louise?
You wanna hear
Yeah.
all we got? Last Friday, we said, hey, we're having an executive committee, and then he texted us after that and said, I'm resigning, I have another opportunity. That's about all that happened.
So you're not
He was-
aware of any
he was
particular difficult, yeah, he seemed like he was.
No, I
He
mean,
was-
we would have
spoke
loved to have done an
Spanish,
exit
so he's
interview.
talking to
I
the
mean, we
framers.
That was it. That's the last communication.
I even asked him twice to
I
send
mean, it
me,
happens, but, you know.
yeah, I've asked him twice to send me his hours, so I can do payroll this week. So,
So we'll be looking for a replacement. then.
Yeah. I was hoping to have a conversation, sort of see if there's a flexible way to move forward, but he hasn't responded to call or text.
Too bad.
Does anybody else have any questions on the executive director's report? And we can move into our resolutions, Brad?
Yes. So we had,
This whole construction is like on it.
yeah, for the roofing, I mean, obviously, I don't know how many square inches, Paul would know better than me. But I think we're considering these projects right here first.
Yes.
That's the one we don't have, right? Because that's what you just sent this morning, or was it?
No, you have.
We have
No,
the
we
number?
have that
Okay.
in the back.
I think
It's on the
this is
back
order
page.
it's
The
going in
last
terms of
page.
the RFP.
Oh, there it is, yeah, okay.
Two signs.
Plumbing, heating, and then Glenn it's actually. So the first thing to consider is 836 River Street here for plumbing. We got 4 responses. And, the lowest one was Bellevue. We had Almighty, we had Troy Allstate, RME Plumbing. RME was very close to Bellevue. So Bellevue was 29,750. It's up to you guys what you'd like to do, because obviously it's about 10.
The scope is the same on all of them.
Yeah.
It's a difference of $245.
Wild differences.
That's pretty
Isn't
wild.
that crazy? Yeah.
But if you look at, say Troy Allstate,
Yeah, like what?
They're-
They must not have wanted to work.
or, I mean, Glen Ave is even at the Glen Ave HVAC, it is 2 furnaces and 2 AC systems, and it's hot air. And then 332 Ninth Street is 2 as well, but for some reason it's 50%, 60% higher for Glen than Ninth. So I'm just not sure, maybe they are used to getting a higher number, I don't know.
Is that Allstate, is that Al Casal down on Sixth Avenue?
Yes.
We've been calling everybody, trying to get people to, even Krista Foley, she's WBE, we love, but she said we're not interested.
Their numbers would have been, if Al is at 99, she would have been out about 150.
What about this grasshopper?
Grasshopper, you called them, right?
Grasshopper is a WBE.
Yeah.
And they are not interested because they deem this as commercial work and they do not do commercial work.
That's what I was gonna say.
However, I've heard from commercial contractors who say, we don't do
We don't do
residential.
residential.
Yeah, you know,
I
and
heard
so,
that coming,
I mean,
yeah.
I can tell them all about it, that this is residential. However, at the end of the day, if you choose not to bid, you choose not to bid.
Yeah, and it was interesting, I believe, before, we were just trying to get pricing to see, because if you're under 30,000, our procurement allows you guys to just vote between 10 and 30 without a full-fledged RFP. But the nice thing about an RFP is, if you get 1 response, you can award it, you don't need to, I mean, I don't wanna have just 1 response, but if you don't get the the
We
response
looked to
is you
get
can still
pricing
move
at
forward
first,
with your
And
project.
we had to go to RFP because we just didn't have enough numbers to make it.
Why are we considered commercial?
That's in the eyes of the plumber. I don't know.
Now, was it Grasshopper or Crisafulli where they declined to be interested in the work, but then when we
Both.
dropped the RFP, they reached out for specs?
No,
Somebody reached
no, it was
out.
someone else. It
Yeah.
was someone else.
It was somebody that had declined the work, but then reached out
Yeah,
for
and then
specs
reached out for the
after.
specs after the fact.
Maybe
After,
it's different bidder,
yeah, it did, well,
a
Yeah.
different point of contact.
yeah, so anyway, I think Kim has to leave in 5, so we'll let you guys,
What's interesting, so,
So just.
Grasshopper does a lot of work with the Civic Center, with Jennifer Lawrence.
Really?
Yeah, as well as, Chris Foley. So I wonder if I reach out to her, if maybe they would consider, because then they
I
can get
reached
the
out directly
technical
to Terry
training.
Bickowitz, who's the general manager. Terry
I was
Bickowitz
gonna
is the
say,
GM.
I'm in a group with Terry, I can ask him.
Yeah, you're in Albany executive.
Yeah, I can just talk to Terry if you guys want.
That'd be
Yeah.
great, that'd be great.
I mean, because she does a lot of work with Jennifer too, and I think it would be a good opportunity,
Yeah.
even if it's the land bank specific stuff, to
Mhm.
marry them up with like the, with the journeyman and the, you know, the interns or whatever.
right,
Just a little quick background, just so everyone is aware. Out of all the folks who did bid here, there is only one MBE or WBE, and that is Dupree. So just to let you know, if our goals, for MBE, WBE are higher than the lowest price, I mean, that's something for the board just to
Yeah.
consider.
But we do have the caveat that if, every effort will be made to adhere to that, and then if not, right, like, we still have that language.
Just
We're keeping
discretion.
Yeah,
Keeping
it's something,
rocks.
yeah, keep records of what
Right,
we've
like,
gotten.
right, not that we have to do a waiver, but like, right,
yeah, we don't wanna do a waiver, sounds like every land bank is trying to get waivers because they can't meet their goals, so
Right.
we're pounding it hard.
We really want to make it go.
So first thing is the plumbing RFPs.
So, resolution 2615 to enter into a contract services for plumbing at 836, River Street.
I mean.
I'll make a motion that we award, Bellevue, was it Bellevue?
Bellevue.
How do you say?
Bellevue Mechanical.
Belleville Mechanical.
I second.
Any discussion?
There's otherwise no difference, as far as we know, between those two, they're so close.
Bellevue did our building here and also, they just did our building
They
here.
did the building here.
Okay, because the other one was done procured by Bolton when he did the other two buildings. So they did all the plumbing here and I think they were 19,000 for this 3 unit.
Right.
19,900. So,
Have we ever worked with Army?
No, not that I'm aware.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, resolution 2615 to enter into services for plumbing at 836 is approved through Bellevue Mechanical. Next up is resolution 2616 to enter into contract services for heating at 836 River Street. Any motion?
So I make a motion to approve, the boilers contract at 836 River Street to Dupree.
Second,
Any further discussion there? All in favor?
Aye.
Any oppositions? That motion passes. Next up, resolution 2617 to enter into contract services for heating at 32 Glen Avenue. Can I get a motion?
I move that we award the contract to ALI Heating,
ALI or ALJ?
ALJ.
ALJ Heating and Cooling for 32 Glen HVAC.
You get a second?
Second.
Any further discussion there? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion 2617.
Real quick, at the executive committee, it was a question of whether they're including the AC and Paul, you reached out, do you want to just clarify?
Sure. Initially, we didn't see where ALJ did include the air conditioning. I have an email confirmation that air conditioning isn't there.
They responded to their bid packet with no exclusions.
Right.
But they also put in their own letterhead and estimate, and they just didn't put it in, and they emailed back and said, no, it's
We
included.
just need to confirm that before presenting to the board.
Next up is resolution 2618, enter into, excuse me, contract services for heating and cooling at 332 9th Street. Can I get a motion?
A motion that we award the HVAC for 332 9th Street to was it ALJ? ALJ Heating and Cooling.
Second,
Any discussion there?
I have one, even though I have the motion, one thing. So not a huge amount of difference between that and the next higher bid, Dupree, which is, did you say is an MBE?
He's an MBE.
And we just awarded this ALJ. Is it worth considering moving to the next higher to cover some, I don't know how close or far we are away from our percentages for the year. Is it something we're feeling pressure on?
We just awarded Dupree the boilers.
Oh, we did, oh, yeah, good point.
So 832.
Yeah,
I mean,
so
that's why
it's
we're
a-
having discussion.
it's a good discussion to have. I'll say, if, I talked to the state about it and they said something along the lines of you can make an accommodation for MBE, WBE in terms of a percentage. Michelle's probably more familiar with typical percentages. The state said 5%. Does that sound right?
And that's what, like 10% difference in cost, so.
It's like
What?
15%.
15,
10 would be,
37 is.
no, you're right, it's about 10%, yeah. It's about 10%. So it's up to you guys how you want to do it, yeah. We, on our roof, Paul has a spreadsheet there, I mean, I'm familiar with it. Where we're at right now with our MBEs, I think with Dupree getting 78,000, we're about at 100 on a grant that we need 360 for. I think that's what we're at. Or no, it's 210 total on there, and so if we eliminate, because we didn't have this last contractor before, it would be 120 with Dupree being eliminated from the first two there. So we're at 120, and I believe on the roofs, just the one contractor's MBE, there's $180,000 in roofs.
Sure.
So it's gonna get us up to 300,000, and then we just need to get $60,000 to finish out the rest of
For
the
the
buildings
roofs,
for
we have person in
MBE.
from WBEs and MBEs.
So I think we'll be okay. We'll work it out.
Yeah, I'm not pushing hard for it, I just want to think about it, and I completely blanked on the.
It's part of every day here. It's part of every day.
I think it's good if you guys establish some sort of accommodation for MBE, WBE, a percentage that you think is fair to work with. Like I said, 5 or 10% seems to be common. Michelle?
Yeah, I mean, I think you don't want to kind of, for the sake of the program points, then have it outweigh the cost
Right, we have
difference.
responsibility to be.
But we can, yeah, I would
Responsible.
say like between 5 and 10% variance to go up is probably most
I
common.
also think you have to be careful because then if you get a reputation of only going after
Correct.
and
We're not gonna attract other
Right.
qualified
Yeah,
contractors,
yeah,
yes.
it's not
And
fair,
that is-
fair.
It's a fine line.
oh, it's just.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
I'm still supportive of the ALJ, but just want to throw it out there.
All in favor, to enter into contract services with ALJ for heating at 332 9th Street?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion passes. You got repair program contract, Brad?
Yeah. So. let me just try to make it-
That's on the back of that sheet, correct?
Yes.
Yes, it's on the back of me.
Of course. So
is this where we have to leave?
you don't have to leave,
Okay,
but I think that if you guys want to maintain your,
I think I am gonna leave.
yeah. Yeah, if you want to maintain your unbiased opinion to the repair program, now's the time to not say anything.
no, I
You know what I mean?
I'm not a big talker anyway.
There you go.
Peace
So-
out. Bye.
So
See ya.
we had all the, first thing we did with Paul and me and Jeffrey was identify the roofs that we had, because it seems to be such an easy thing to get a roof price, and it's a big amount of money, and it's not very technical. It's like, we're ripping it off, we're replacing it, give us a price. Some people do it from their desk. So in anticipation for everything to be approved by HCR, which everything has not been approved by HCR, only 10 projects have. Once we get all the projects approved, we're gonna move forward, but we got the pricing necessary for the roof projects. we called around we did ask Watertight, who just did a repair for us. He's on Lincoln Avenue in Troy. He did a repair at 836 River Street where the old vent stack was going through the roof water was coming in.
Damaged.
And so we said, why don't you give us some quotes? And then we called around to a bunch of MBE, WBEs, and other roofing contractors around the area. And these are the ones that were willing to come in and give us a quote. Paul would know better where they're from and their stories, but, yeah, so this one contractor, Diesel Construction, came in, he was much lower than pretty much any other, well, maybe on this one's not much lower, but lower than most of the contractors in general. You know, 5,000 over here. Here he was 5,000 on this guy, 5,000, 4,100 on this guy. So anyway, these are the projects that we're working on right now and on the left. And as they're approved, we need to move forward with the contractors and,
These all have the same warranties, like it's all.
Yes, everyone's on the same spec, 100%. When we wrote the scope of work, I mean, if it's a shingle roof, it's a 30-year plus lifetime warranty shingle, and with all the bells and whistles that come with that. On the flat roofs, we're looking for a minimum of a 20-year warranty, which is purchasable by the contractor for this, and that's included in the price.
Where's Diesel from?
Diesel is Utica.
So how do we do
Whitesboro.
a repair?
What's that?
How do we do a repair? If a roof and
It's a great
during the
question.
warranty period, how do we do a repair?
We would have to hold them.
Because they're far away, is what you're saying? I mean, relatively
I
speaking.
mean, for the homeowner, right? Like we're
Yeah.
ambassador for the
Sure we
homeowner
are.
at this point, because the warranty's gonna get turned over to the homeowner. So if the homeowner and Diesel has the repair, like the,
Repair obligation.
right. Now, all of a sudden they got called in Utica to come and fix their roof that's pouring water right now. Are any of these local?
Watertight is the only local.
Where's SJBS?
They are out of Utica as well.
Have we ever used Diesel?
Hour and a half, yeah.
No.
I mean, that doesn't seem terrible. It's a fair question, though. I mean, I'm not discounting that.
And
Yeah, further away,
Yukon
more
is down
response
in,
time.
Windsor.
I woke up in Syracuse this morning.
so
No, it's not.
Do you repair roofs too?
No, that's what I'm saying, it's not,
Yeah, I mean, you know.
I don't know that it's that far.
I mean, that is I would say one consideration of response time, but there
Yeah.
certainly could be many
I guess-
others.
If you
Just,
look
they could
at-
be around the corner
With the
and still
exception
take
of
2 days to
Watertight,
get
all
there.
three are gonna have to travel at least an hour and a half to get there.
Yeah, I guess to look at their service areas, like to Monica's point, are they regularly out here or
Right.
close to here? Or
Yeah.
is this just a
Right.
one-off?
I mean, they get as close as Herkimer.
Have we
Yeah,
ever
that's the
used diesel
SJ.
before?
No.
My bigger hesitation is going with a first time contract.
All in on,
For every
yeah,
single
for every
one.
one of those, yeah.
Mhm.
Well, and if how many of those are happening at the same time when it comes to
Well,
it, right?
Brad and I
Yeah.
spoke about this earlier today, and for full transparency, we did talk about exactly this. And, you know, me being in the roofing business, okay, the first roof, I'm gonna pick it apart. I'm gonna tell you that right now. So if it's not in line, you know, we reserve that right to say, whoa, time out. You know, and it wouldn't be the first contractor, no offense, that we booted out of town.
Yeah.
So not that I see that coming, or I've done as much homework and research on this company as I have on the others, and I didn't find anything negative.
Are they big?
Yeah, these guys are fairly good.
which one?
Diesel,
Can you pull-
Yukon is huge.
Diesel, they got 98.
I mean, I think there's so much lower than second place on some of these.
That's crazy.
Like,
I did the math. on
It's a
few.
lot.
I did,
I'm just looking
I
at
did
it.
the math on a few of them, and,
Do you think that,
I did the math per square. Per square meaning per 100 feet. So, and I looked at his ultimate number on the majority of the shingles, it seemed to be right around $550 to $570 a square. That is cheaper than most guys around here by about anywhere between $50 and $100 a square. But as it's gotten busier in the industry, people are sticking numbers out there and people are just buying them. They're saying, I need a roof, I don't care. So that's what's going, and that's what's driving some of these other
I
prices
feel like
so
the insurance
high.
companies are putting a lot of pressure on people for roofing,
Yeah.
right?
Sure, and they are. They're demanding, that people put roofs on. So what does someone do? I'm gonna lose my insurance if I don't put a roof on, I'll pay, you know?
Can you coordinate like which one you want them to do first? For example, you said like an audition, do the first one, if you like it, great, move on to the next one. In other words, put them on the worst one first. See what happens.
We'll see if it comes back.
What do we have with like 8 pits? 4 chimneys.
That's up to you guys, you know, because we're not in a contract. This is not, we just ask for pricing at this point. This is not an RFP.
There's a one of these properties, does it stand out that it's a massive project, you know?
Two of them probably, two flat.
Which one's the most, right? I mean, presumably their higher bids would be for bigger and or more complicated,
Yeah, it
right?
sounds like 8th Street's one of them.
8th Street is definitely, I would call that a nightmare job.
Hill Street's pretty high.
It's a 3-story flat.
Three-story flat, active leaks everywhere.
Hill Street's a
I was
3-story
there.
flat.
What,
Hill Street,
Hill Street is also
That's what
a
we're
flat.
doing the program for. People live in these places. Yeah, I've seen it.
Well, I mean, if you guys don't think that there's any concern about warranty aspect of this, cause you know what's gonna happen is our homeowner's gonna call us if they don't get a response.
With the conversation. Even once they're in contract.
Mhm.
Right.
And for the amount of money they're leaving on the table, you could probably buy a better warranty.
yeah, my concern is the amount of money being left. Do we have their insurance certs and everything?
We do.
I mean, they look like they're a big contractor, but I think at the same time, they're also looking at volume, right? They're probably gonna come in
They're
here,
gonna come here with 2 crews,
right, and they're
5
not
or
just
6
banging
men
out.
on each crew,
Bang.
plus somebody to oversee everything. And they're gonna, on the shingle roofs, they're gonna bang one out a day.
Yeah.
On the
Yeah.
flat roofs, maybe 2 days unless it needs structural repair, which is a whole nother thing.
Right.
Which is not included. So
That's not even in this number.
that's not in this number because it can't be. It's unknown.
Not to appeal
It's
at all.
unknown. So, you know, that's something else that we need to come up with. Well, the board needs to come up with a way to address that.
Well,
Because
I
that,
mean, and by leaving money on the table, that gives us money for that, if we need to do
Right.
that.
true.
Yeah, because if you got active leaks on, or no, is that one on 8th Street Masonry Building?
Yes.
Yeah, so they're gonna peel that off and the structural issues are gonna be. Put them there first.
So can I ask a question on that so that can open up a can of worms that we don't have funding for. So is that something like we rip the roof off and we see structural damage on the walls or the joists,
No, it
like
could be
big
just
stuff?
Plywood.
We have $40,000 per building to do.
Okay, but is this something where we go back to the homeowner and say, you might wanna put an insurance claim in? We'll continue to do this work, but like, you know what I mean? Cause it can get from
Or
40,000
do we need to
to
get more
200,000
approval
quick.
for the
Well,
project? Like if we get approval for these or whichever one. And but then the scope changes in that way, we can't just spend more on.
but you could
Or
put,
can we?
you could put a roof and roof decking over the top of a roof.
Yeah.
And then say, you need a lot more, we can't go further. That's what we can do with our grant. You know, say on 8th Street or Hill Street, if you rip off the roof and you find out like this joist, I mean, how many joists did we replace over at 785
exactly.
River Street? We had to replace a bunch of them.
No, that's, I
Yeah,
think we
Seventh
just
Day
need
we
to
had to
think
replace
about
them.
that, you guys need to think about, because that could open up a whole new conversation.
It's definitely, you know, a whole nother.
Especially for some of these property owners who have let this go for so long, right? If they're owner occupied, especially if they're older, right? Like maybe
And
if
several
they don't
are.
have money to do the roofs and they're applying for a grant,
Mhm.
right? Like they might not
money to do
necessarily
the
have.
underneath.
Correct. Or if there's mold issues, or like, I wanna make sure that, do we know that all these property owners have insurance?
Yeah, they have to have insurance in order to be part of the
Right,
program.
like, so just, I just know what I do at my house, every time I open something, and I just cry.
they're approved to have the roof done, and so, you know, if there's stuff below the roof, so there, you have the support, roof support, if it's a flat roof, you have the span of the beam going across the roof rafters across. If there's mold, it's probably gonna be water that fell between there to the ceiling, but we're just going to replace the roof.
I
And so
understand that, but
that stops the water intrusion, which will stop feeding the mold, but they still probably need to do the mold, and it's just not something that.
I understand that, but
Your heart
where
breaks for
is
them.
our moral obligation to make sure the homeowner knows the stuff
Oh,
and that
well,
we don't own that issue,
Yeah,
right?
tell them, but you can only go, we can't use our own money for it, and if the state's only giving 40,000, that's where we have to stop.
Have they already signed a contract with us or no?
No, we do a three-way contract with the contractor, us, we're the financial people, they and the contractor work together.
All right, and is there language in that contract to exempt us from, exclude us from any
Hold
future
harmless?
issues? Yeah.
There is a whole problem.
Grant,
Yeah.
40, the state's approved
These 10, I'll show you in the screen.
40,000 to each
Per
one,
building, yeah.
per building, okay?
Well,
What is the total, diesel's total package? Do you know what that number is, Paul? The
I
number?
don't know off the top of my head, but.
You just click drag and tell you, yeah, right there.
You have it,
186,506.
what is it?
186,506.
Alright, and there's 10 properties at 40 apiece. Where's the other?
There's 14
There's
properties.
14 at 40 apiece.
So
Where's,
average 13.3.
is this money already allocated?
Again, you guys passed a resolution that we're going one by one in order.
Yeah,
The first 10 projects that we're doing.
Yeah.
Are these 10.
okay,
And we're going one by one. 10 times 40,000 is 400,000.
correct.
But we've been approved for these ones. We're gonna get quotes this month for anything that's not on this list.
It's not roofing.
But 8th Street is on that list. 1074 Madison, Madison Avenue, 25 Madison's on that list. 105 Hill Street's on that list. So 4 of those are roofs right off the bat. Maybe some more of them I haven't. 774, 6th
774 is
Avenue.
a roof.
So these are the ones that the state says we can move forward with. We have the pricing for them. Even if you guys vote today to award all 14 projects, it's contingent on approval from the state and the projects before them being done. And if you choose to split it up, then, we only can move forward as long as there's funding available. And so we're not gonna spend more than 40. We're assuming anything that's not done is gonna cost $40,000,
So
so.
do we expect the homeowner to come back and say, hey, it's public record that you only spent $12,900
Oh,
on my
that
roof?
happened last year.
And
I said
I
that-
had the rest of it, right? Can I do it more?
Here's some other
projects?
stuff.
Yeah,
right?
they tried that last year. I smooth talked them, but it was one of those, we got it done for this amount of money. And, because we worked really hard to get the price down, we can spread more money around the different projects. But people apply for programs because they feel like they're getting money. They don't actually have a need. They just want to feel like they're winning something or getting
Right.
something. So we had to explain that to a lot of people, where it's like, this is what we can do in the allotment for the facade program. Yes, we only spent 6,000, but didn't you get everything that you applied for? Because we procured it at so low. Nothing's missing.
In doing the math cumulatively for these, so let's just say for the sake of argument that every single roof needed 20 sheets of plywood. Okay, that cost would be, give or take,
Yeah,
okay, probably around 2,500 a roof. So if you make 2,500 times 14, add that to that number.
Right.
That's your worst case if there's no structural. That's your,
well, that's what I'm
which,
saying. is
which, if you compare that to anybody else here, you're still under.
It's still under
The
the
gross
higher,
amount.
yeah,
That's
the
where I
higher
go
bids.
with that 40,000 number. I'm
Yeah,
like,
This,
so
this
I think we're
particular.
safe for structural, because you're not even close to 40. Now, the second part of my question was, if you have 40,000, that's the max, right? Are the difference, we'll take the first one, or I'm sorry, 10.5, right? So you got that difference, roughly 30,000, right? Is that money gonna be used for, or can it be used for incidentals, structural issues there? Or is that gonna go to, you wanna do more work with that 30,000?
Yes.
Another client,
That's
correct?
another,
Okay.
if we can.
If
But
we can.
We're going with the first person the first 12, we know we could do. 12 times 40 is 480,000.
Yeah.
So the first 12, we're just gonna move forward. If we can get any of those 12 under 40,
Yeah.
then we can move on to the next
To the
person on
next
the list
round.
and get the 13th, 14th, 15th.
Right.
We're getting approval from HCR for 28 of them, because that's in my gut what I feel like we can do.
Yeah.
But if we get to 28 and we still have 100,000 left over, we're gonna move on to the next
Correct.
2 or 3.
But we'll still,
We're gonna go slow where we're not gonna go over our cap.
for if some of these pop up or you have structural or any issues pertaining to
Yep,
what we're there to do.
yep,
You'll,
we have the
pretty safe
money.
to say we have it.
Yeah. Yeah, so, obviously we gotta get going on them now so that by the next summer, we'll know what we have left over to fill out for the end of the 20 to 40 on the first round, or some round 2, 3, and 4 have come in, those proposals, but
Are these all active leaks?
All active leaks?
All actively leaking?
No.
Okay.
No, they're
Do
not.
you know the ones that are actively leaking?
Yes, I do.
Why don't we just,
you gotta go in
You
order
gotta
of the
go in order,
points.
Jamie.
oh.
You gotta go in order.
How many
Right.
points they
Points.
got
How
on
many
their
points they got
application.
based off the root rate?
Okay.
So you guys can approve it
I would love to do
contingent
that,
on
Jamie.
their
Make my life a lot
point.
easier.
You can approve it contingent on their place in the order, and also contingent on HCR approval
Oh
and,
my.
and those sort of things.
Urgency is not taken into consideration.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, that's out the window. All right,
But
so,
if you look, 8th Street is the one with the leaky roofs, and it's already been approved. It's one of our top 10.
yeah, that's where I was going.
Yeah, They
honestly.
scored more points with the urgency,
Yeah.
but if they have a high income and they scored a ton of points in urgency, they didn't score the same as somebody that had like a trip hazard in front of their house and they have absolutely no money to fix it.
Everything on this sheet right now that we're gonna approve is, these guys have the highest points, right? I was just
No,
saying,
these are just the roofs.
These are just roofs. We're breaking it down into this category for the moment.
So what do you need what do we need now?
If the board wants to approve a contractor for either each individual address or a broad brushstroke contingent on HCR approval and we go in order, that would be great for us, then we can get the ball rolling on things like A Street. And we can execute the contract and maybe get this contractor in this week.
So let's do that,
And just make sure Michelle likes what I'm saying,
No, that is correct, that it has to be contingent on,
their order.
the order and HCR approving the participant for the program.
Yeah.
So I will move, you scroll back up to see the name, and someone correct me if I'm not wording this correctly. I move that we approve Diesel Construction for all of the listed roofing repairs, 14 on this spreadsheet, there were roofing quotes 8/18/26, contingent on approval for those projects to proceed. And what was the other thing?
Based on the scoring rubric.
Based on the scoring rubric.
Yeah.
And
And
approval.
approval HCR. And that is, and just to clarify, that's not my own thing, but to clarify, that's only 4 of the first 10, that only includes 4 of the first 10 projects, right? Only, because only 4 of the
Well-
first 10 are roofs. Is that correct?
Close to it, yeah.
Something like that. Anyway, that's my
9th Street
motion.
might be the 5th,
Anybody want a second?
Can I get a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor? Any
Aye.
opposition? That motion, or that resolution?
And one abstention.
One
And one
abstention.
abstention.
Oh, one abstention, I'm sorry. So that's it for the agenda, right, Brett?
Yeah, and so obviously anything that we get approval from HCR for Jeffrey's next round of 10, we're gonna present those quotes to the board. You can also anticipate that we're gonna be doing LaCourte only did service work for us, so we're dropping an RFP for the
We'll
electrical.
be putting that RFP out today for electrical for 332,
Nice.
932 Glen, and for 836 River Street.
Oh, yeah.
Just a reminder, next month will be budget.
Yes,
I will actually not physically be here, I don't think.
I'm not gonna be here on it.
What's the date again for September?
16.
September.
16th?
Sent it out, yeah, 16. Yeah, so on the
Won't
11th,
be here either.
on the 11th is the executive committee meeting.
You guys, the three of you will be here.
Oh, I might be able to swing it.
Yeah, we can change it
I was gonna
too.
say, do we wanna change it? Because that means we're out.
Yeah, I mean, if we can change it,
Let's
I'd rather change
realistically,
it.
5 people for quorum purposes.
Can we do it on a,
Anyway, anyway, to do the next day, 17th?
I'm out that week.
Oh, okay.
October 1st. 15th.
Say it again, 15th to the 1st?
Yeah.
What about the 9th?
Or the 14th? The 9th would be before our finance committee meeting.
Sure. I can do the 14th or 15th.
We do 14th if you're good with that, Monday the 14th.
Monday's not good for Monday's management meeting.
We could also do Tuesday the 15th, but then you're going away. What time are you flying?
6 in the morning.
Perfect, everybody's available at 4, right?
Can we do later on?
We can do Monday evening too.
Monday later. Yeah.
Can everybody do like a 3:30 or 4 o'clock meeting?
Before.
One
Um,
Monday?
Monday the 14th?
Yep.
or we-
Yeah.
I could do that.
Monday the 14th at 4?
Sorry, everybody.
No.
Well,
And it works for me
One out
too.
is not terrible.
Jamie, you good on the 14th at 4?
Yes, that's fine.
Bob?
Sure. So that, September 14th, 4 o'clock, instead of the 16th, right?
Yep.
That we're doing? That's good. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
All in favor?
I,
We are adjourned.
We would just be canceling that meeting for lack of quorum anyway, so.